When we started this journey,
we were certainly more optimistic.
we were all a bit younger, but not as wise as we are now.
We watched events unfold in America together, 5 days a week.
Through the lens of this studio.
In Congress, July 4, 1776. The unanimous Declaration of the 13 United States of America. When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth, the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government, and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world.
As a child, I always loved the show Alvin and the Chipmunks. And as an adult, I never really understood why. Tell me this.
Transgender swimmer Leah Thomas, whose continued participation in and dominance of
I did not want to make this video, but I had to, because it's like when you see somebody else's child like licking an outlet, like it feels irresponsible to not intervene. So in 2008, when Malala Yousafzai was just 11 years old, she found her voice, and she used that voice to speak out against the Taliban's campaign to end the education of girls in Pakistan. She got loud, and she would go on to serve as an international advocate for women's empowerment and for the education of girls. She got real loud. On October 19, 2012, she's 15 years old. She's sitting on a bus. And a grown man, member of the Taliban, walks up to her, points a gun at her, and pulls the trigger. That bullet went behind her left eye and 18 inches through her neck and into her shoulder. Because as you, honey, have already established, men don't like loud women. They don't like loud women because loud women challenge the status quo. And the status quo works really well for most of them. But loud women get things done. It was loud women who fought for the right to vote, for the right to have agency over their bodies, that launched the civil rights movement, that fought for equal pay for equal work, that got Title IX passed. It's loud women who said Me Too, and that Black Lives Mattered. It was loud women who fought for your right to sit in that chair and spew all of this ridiculous nonsense you call dating advice. But here's where what you have to say is dangerous. That I am the dad of a 5-year-old little girl. And I want her to know that her voice is not a liability, that it is in fact like her single greatest asset. I want her to be loud so she can call out injustice where she sees it. I want her to be loud so that she can demand the respect she deserves when the men around her try to talk and walk over her. Girl, I want her to be loud because 1 in 6 American women is the victim of a sexual assault, and in that moment, her voice is the thing that will save her. She needs to know that she doesn't need to make herself smaller so that the men in her life are less intimidated. What she needs to be able to say is that if they don't match what she brings to the table, then there's not a seat for them. I would hope that women like you would use their voice to tell her that any relationship that's predicated on her having to pretend to be something else or change who she is absolutely doomed to fail. Because I'm going to use my voice to teach my son that real strength comes not from putting people down, but by lifting them up. That genuine confidence allows other people to shine. And that only weak men with fragile egos are threatened by a woman with a voice. You arrived at the wrong conclusion because you are asking the wrong questions. The question is not whether or not men like you. The question is, do you like you? And I'm gonna do everything in my power to make sure the answer to that question for her is yes.
With a very important reminder, I'll take the mean tweets and $2 a gallon gasoline any day. Now,
2 years ago on the campaign trail, Joe Biden, well, when he wasn't hiding in his bunker, told us that
when someone tells you,
he was a climate warrior.
you know, something, especially on the campaign trail,
2 years ago on the campaign trail, Joe Biden, well, when he wasn't hiding in his bunker, told us that he was a climate warrior.
Openly dreamed of a Green New Deal and promised to move away from fossil fuels altogether.
Vowed to destroy the oil and gas industry and even threatened to throw oil executives in jail.
I'll take the mean tweets and $2 a gallon gasoline any day. Now, believe them. I'll take the mean tweets and $2 a gallon gasoline any day. Now,
Even if that meant sacrificing high-paying career jobs in the energy sector in the process.
Willing to open
even if
up
it
more
caused
here
Americans,
in America
you,
is
the
pretty
American
stunning.
people, deep financial pain.
None
which
of
we are
what
now
Joe
all
Biden
experiencing.
does makes
And
any
then-
sense.
The oil industry
and
pollutes
the problem
significantly.
is that
I
with
said, here's
Joe
the deal,
Biden in the Democrat Party, what you've got is a party that is ideologically so
I'll take the mean
connected.
tweets and
It's
$2 a
almost
gallon
like a cult.
gasoline any day.
Okay,
Now,
the Democrats don't vote for Republicans, basically under any circumstances that
$2
I
a
know
gallon
of.
gasoline any day.
Republicans will vote for a Democrat. They'll criticize Donald
I'll
Trump
take
the
the mean
month
tweets and
after he
$2
gets
a gallon
in.
gasoline
The
any day.
Democrats
Now, he
don't
said he was a
criticize Joe
card-carrying member
Biden.
of the
That's why
climate
there are all these
alarmist cult.
whispers that
He
they're
said
talking
that-
about.
Well, if you
But
let me finish the
the
statement.
concern
I'll
is
take the mean
this:
tweets
in
and
spite
$2
of
a
the
gallon
economy
gasoline
and
any day.
inflation and
Now,
everything else, and the blame game, and the American public sees through it, they don't buy into the blame game. All the American public wants to know, Joe,
I'll take the mean
what are you
tweets
going
and
to do
$2
about
a gallon
this?
gasoline
How
any
are
day.
you going to change
Now,
this?
Venezuela
How are
rich
you going
again.
to
We're
make
going to
my
beg the
life
Saudis and
better?
OPEC
How are you
to
going to
produce
make my
more oil.
life better? And all this guy can talk about is green energy, buying lithium batteries from China, opening up the a pipeline for
I'll take the
Russia
mean
so we
tweets
can
and
buy
$2 a gallon
gas from
gasoline any day.
Russia,
Now,
and then, you know, making sure that he
I'll
shuts
take the
down
mean
our
tweets and $2 a
pipeline
gallon
when
gasoline
we
any
can't
day.
even
Now,
afford to go to
Roy,
work. Some people,
the
they
oil
can't afford to
industry.
buy
Will you
food, they
remember
can't
that
afford to
Texas?
buy
Will you remember that
groceries.
Pennsylvania,
It's just a
Oklahoma?
mess here. And Joe Biden
never-
would have
Get
a
out.
better
Doing
shot
away
at
with any
it
subsidies for
if he
fossil
at
fuels,
least
number
didn't
one. Number
depend
two,
on other
holding them
countries,
liable
OPEC country for
for what they
oil,
have done,
Russia opening
particularly
up
in
their
those cases
pipeline, China
where
lithium
I'll take the
batteries.
mean tweets and
Everything he
$2 a
does
gallon
puts
gasoline any
America
day.
last.
Your underserved
So I don't
neighborhoods
care if
and
they
you
whisper, they
know the
don't
deal.
whisper.
I'll take the
It's
mean
over
tweets
for
and
Joe
$2 a gallon
after the
gasoline any
midterms.
day.
Interesting that
Now,
I want you to just take a look, okay? You don't have to agree.
I'll take the mean tweets and $2 a gallon gasoline any day. Now,
But I want you to look in my eyes. I guarantee you, I am not going to cooperate with you, okay?
Would there be
We're going to end
any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated.
and hey, Sean, I'll take the mean tweets and $2 a gallon gasoline any day. Now,
Okay. And by the way, when they don't or when they're deliberate, we'll put them in jail.
are you wondering why you're paying on average $5.10 for a gallon of gasoline?
Fossil fuel and
I'll take the mean tweets and $2 a gallon gasoline any day. Now, of course, after the election, Biden did exactly what he promised to do. He killed off the Keystone XL pipeline. Well, he did give a waiver to the Nord Stream 2 pipeline for Vladimir Putin. I guess probably payback for all the business that Hunter and Russia did together. Now we
we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated.
And, well, when you artificially reduce the world supply of the lifeblood of our economy, fossil fuels and oil and gas, and at a time when demand is actually growing, we also banned drilling in Anwar. He paused all new oil and gas permits on federal lands. He restricted fracking. He slowed down production with a slew of burdensome regulations. And while he curbed domestic production, he's now more. I'll take the mean tweets and $2 a gallon gasoline any day. Now, well, prices go up. That's simple economics 101. You don't eliminate it. You don't need a Harvard business degree to figure it out. At the time, President Trump predicted exactly what would happen and what is exactly happening right now. Take a look at this.
The gas prices, you like the $2 gas, right? About $5, $6, and national average for a gallon of gas is now well over $5 a gallon, $5.10. By the way, diesel, that costs even more. Now, despite what $7, darling, let's sell the car. It's a little bit too large. Let's get a cut back.
I'll take the mean tweets and $2 a gallon gasoline any day. Now,
$8, $10, and this is giving me a call. We're going to build some more windmills. Biden and his, well, administration would have you believe.
I'll take the mean tweets and $2 a gallon gasoline any day. Now, well, prices go up. That's simple economics 101. You don't need a
Change between Biden and then President Trump during the debate. This is October 2020. Take a look for yourself. Biden's plan is an economic death sentence.
Of course, the feigned outrage over those mean tweets. We have more natural resources here, and somehow I'll take the mean tweets and $2 a gallon gasoline any day. Now, according to the climate cult, I'll take the mean tweets and $2 a gallon gasoline any day. Now, paying foreign dictators and America's sworn enemies to produce the oil, I'll take the mean tweets and $2 a gallon gasoline needs desperately. Paying foreign dictators and America's sworn enemies, the mean tweets and $2 a gallon gasoline, then producing it right here at home. It's somehow what? Tell me how that's better for Mother Earth, for the climate.
I'll take the Mother Earth for the climate. along with a president who is unwilling or unable to change course.
Any day. Now, while we're on the record of this high prices every day and was experiencing one every day for 17 days in a row, I'll take the mean tweets and $2 a gallon gasoline any day. Now, he's so beholden to, I'll take the mean tweets and his climate religious cult. $2 a gallon gasoline any day. Now, it doesn't make any sense. And now doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, that is the definition of insanity here. To say our country was on the right track, allowing these insanity remain in place would flagrantly depart from reality. So, but that's exactly what's happening. Because I'll take the mean tweets and $2 a gallon gasoline any day. Now,
Joe answers to the radical, eco-socialist, new Green Dealers in his own party.
So we will compromise
our national security and be dependent on other
$2 a gallon gasoline any day. Now, it doesn't make any sense. And
the countries, we will eliminate all these high-paying career jobs in the energy sector.
I'll take the mean tweets and
we will do nothing to increase the world supply, which would lower gas costs dramatically at the pump. We will give up the greatest opportunity we have to lower inflation and reduce the price of every item in every store that we shop at by reducing the delivery costs. Costs a lot more when those 18-wheelers fill up their trucks. They're rigs with diesel. Just to cling
to this. I'll take the mean tweets and $2 a gallon gasoline any day. Now,
it's clearly
this climate religious cult. But truth be told, at this point, it's not totally clear that the candidate here even think for himself at all. And with his poll numbers cratering, polls that are not exactly in the world of reality, I'll take the mean tweets and $2 a gallon gasoline any day. Now,
it is clearly way more important.
At this point, it's not totally clear that the
Democrats are now starting to jump ship.
But truth be told,
top Obama advisor, not a dumb guy, David Axelrod, said Biden's age was a major red flag.
And look at this headline from even the liberal New York Times, quote, should Biden run in 2024? Democratic whispers of no start to rise. And
meanwhile, Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez this weekend refused to say whether or not she would support Biden in 2024.
We call them outliers.
According to that report, quote, dozens of frustrated Democratic officials, members of Congress, and voters are expressing doubts about the president's ability to rescue his reeling party. One DNC committee member
even told the Times, quote, I'll take the mean tweets and $2 a gallon gasoline any day. Now,
naturally,
Hannity here.
Those just who to blame are Americans, middle-class Americans, Americans on fixed incomes. It is clearly anyone but himself, and way more important than the suffering.
According to the Washington Post, Joe is lashing out at his own staff, even his chief of staff, Ron Klain. Now, to say our country was on the right track would flagrantly depart from reality. So
willing to open up more here in America is pretty stunning to people. None of what Joe Biden does makes any sense. And the problem is that with Joe Biden in the Democrat Party, what you've got is a party that is ideologically so connected. It's almost like a cult. OK, the Democrats don't vote for Republicans, basically under any circumstances that I know of.
Republicans will vote for a Democrat. They'll criticize Donald Trump the month after he gets in. The Democrats don't criticize Joe Biden. That's why there are all these whispers that they're talking about. But the concern is this. In spite of the economy and inflation and everything else and the blame game, and the American public sees through it, they don't buy into the blame game. All the American public wants to know, Joe, what are you going to do about this? How are you going to change this? How are you going to make my life better? How are you going to make my life better? And all this guy can talk about is green energy, buying lithium batteries from China, opening up the pipeline for Russia so we can buy gas from Russia, and then, making sure that he shuts down our pipeline when we can't even afford to go to work, some people. They can't afford to buy food. They can't afford to buy groceries. It's just a mess here. And Joe Biden would have a better shot at it if he at least didn't depend on other countries, the OPEC country for oil, Russia opening up their pipeline, China lithium batteries. Everything he does puts America last. So I don't care if they whisper or they don't whisper. It's over for Joe after the midterms. It's interesting.
Like me, most of you drew a line in the sand to fight for the America that we wanted. My opens were intended to give you the evidence, to keep the values and the principles that our founding fathers had defined. This is where Judge Jeanine began, hosted by a former prosecutor, judge, and DA, sitting not in a courtroom with armed deputies, but instead in a studio armed with teleprompters, monitors, and a dedicated staff and crew.
We watched it all together. You listened to my opens and got fired up. You watched Street Justice and had a few laughs. We realized that things were not as they should be, and we needed to take a stand. Your generosity, your consolations meant so much to me during the tough times that I experienced over the years. Together, we watched America, though, as she went through times that were unexpected. We interviewed those high up in the political world, the president, a vice president, a prime minister, and we both laughed and got fired up. During that time, we
lost loved ones. Your generosity your consolations.
Look back at the most memorable Justice moments hosting this show right from here.
I felt the connection that we had. So did the ratings.
So that you as a jury would come back with your own verdict.
My opens were intended to give you the evidence so that you as a jury would come back with your own verdict. The jury bigger though, in fact, a national one. The mission, finding truth and justice, each and every week.
But I'm now moving to The Five, which is the #1 show on all of cable news, where you'll be able to see me happy to make this move 5 days a week.
And you were the ones who made it happen. 5 days a week.
You were the ones that made it the #1 cable show for many years.
On Saturdays. I thank you for fighting for me, and you know who you are.
And I will continue to fight for all of you, to make my views known, to make my arguments clear, and to fight for the America that we all know and love. Come back at me.
5 days a week.
And I'll be sitting there looking out for you as always.
On Saturdays.
And hopefully you'll be
Right here, #1 show bringing you truth, justice, and the American way.
On Saturdays. And so as we reach the end of this journey, don't
Think you're getting rid of me just yet. I'm Jeanine Pirro, advocating for truth, justice, and the American way.
5 days a week.
Justice has been my passion, so you'll be able to see me
You see me in D.C., say hi. You're safe with me.
5 days a week.
And that's my
I, Jesus, have sent my angel to give you this testimony for the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David, and the bright morning star. Then I saw another angel coming up from the east, having the seal of the living God. He called out in a loud voice to the 4 angels who had been given power to harm the land and the sea.
writing here has been created specifically to serve as the foundation for my campaign platform, giving all of my fellow Americans an introduction of who I am, what I do, have done, still do, while peppering messages of my vision for America 2024. Check out Chichok Chat on YouTube if you want to change the world and change what's truly the darkness, and it's all coming from what we have been shown by our media. Unlike Janine's style of judgment, my judgments are righteous as they are just, and by just I mean for everyone, not our pals at the station.
I got all of that. Were you able to process all of that too?